What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HnH Podcast. I am your co-host, Hamza Rana, joined by my older brother, Huzaifa Z. Rana. As you can see today, before we get into anything, we're dressed up a little bit nice. Z's wearing a nice little quarter zip. I'm wearing a full zip, but we're a little bit classy today. Trying to bring that type of vibe. But anyways, it's been a week. It's been a while. We're super excited to be recording again. My brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Nice introduction there. It's been a pretty busy week, pretty hectic week in the sports world today. But before we get into our actual content and the stuff that we want to get into today for the podcast, Hamza and I just want to express our condolences and our thoughts and prayers to Marshawn Nealon, defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys, who unfortunately passed away last Thursday. Our thoughts and prayers are with him, his family, and the whole Cowboys organization. It's truly heartbreaking news, Hamza, that we got on Thursday that an active player on our team who had a big impact this year and who we had both thought would have a great future for the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, passing away on Thursday. Again, like I said, thoughts and prayers to his family and everyone affected and close by. And I'll just say this on behalf of both of us. If anyone is dealing with any type of mental health or going through some sort of struggles, we ask that you please, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's no shame in any of that. Hamza and I are also here for anyone watching our podcast who may be struggling with anything. Please don't be afraid to reach out to both of us on our social medias. We have individual numbers as well that you can please reach us out on. We're here for everyone. So, like I said, extremely sad news for the NFL, Hamza, and the Dallas Cowboys. I'll let you kind of comment on that news, and then we can kind of continue on with the show here.
Yeah, it's super tragic news. It's something you never want to see with a guy, so young with so much potential. It's something, you never want to hear. Especially it would be the last person you would think, with the caliber, the caliber that of a type of guy he is. Like, I mean, he's living everyone else's dream, right? He gets drafted to the NFL. Not only is he drafted to the NFL, he's playing with a star in his helmet. He's playing for Dallas. That would be the last person anyone would expect to be, going through the things that he's going through. And that's why, it's really important that we should all check up on our loved ones, check up on your people, man. Just a simple text and be like, hey, what's up? I know some people are, afraid to really, go into detail of how they're actually feeling. And one thing they shouldn't be afraid of is, asking for help, like you mentioned before. Things like these are, it's super sad. It's happening too often. We saw a lot, sports deaths, deaths, or deaths. Sorry, oh my God, I can't speak. This past year with similar cases, one of the more notable ones, Kyron Lacey, former LSU wide receiver. It's super tragic. Again, our condolences are with Marshawn Nealon and his family. But yeah, again, something you never want to hear and never want to see. It's super tragic. It's something you never ever want to see.
And Hamza has mentioned too, like, something as simple as reaching out to a friend or a loved one, is asking how they're doing, checking in on them, giving them a call. It can go a long way in their lives. And as we said it before, we'll say it again. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Only 24 years old. He's my age right now. Absolutely heartbreaking, devastating news. And we'll see how. Obviously, today is the first day of Cowboys back in the facility after the bye week. So I'll be interested to see and see how these guys kind of respond and how they're united. I know they're going to be doing something for Marshawn with the helmet, and they're going to honor him in some type of way. And this past weekend, we saw every NFL team give a moment of silence to remember Marshawn. So we'll leave it at that. Obviously, heartbreaking news, and our thoughts and prayers, like as we had mentioned a few times this episode, are with Marshawn, his family, and everyone affected by this. But Hamza, to change the subject there. On a little bit more of a positive note, Hamza, the Dallas Cowboys, obviously, they suffered that tough loss to the Arizona Cardinals a couple Mondays ago against Jacoby Brissett, who looked like a Hall of Fame quarterback that game. And, it's been pretty disappointing this season overall, Hamza, 3-5-1. We're outside the playoffs looking in. But the Dallas Cowboys made two pretty massive trades, Hamza, to help our team, not only for this year, which I know that you'll mention, but also for years ahead, acquiring Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets and Logan Wilson from the Cincinnati Bengals. Hamza, two defensive stars in this league. I'll let you comment first, Hamza, on the impact you think these two individuals are going to make for the Cowboys this year, but also both of these guys are locked up for a few more years as well. So Hamza, what was your overall reaction to the trades, first of all, and second of all, how do you think they're going to do in the Dallas Cowboys colors?
Well, first of all, let's go into a bit of the detail of what Dallas gave up. Start off with the Logan Wilson trade. This was a trade that the day before Jay was like, yeah, we like the trade that there's a trade on the table that we're thinking of taking, and the trade was Logan Wilson, and Dallas only gave up a 7th-round pick. Some people might say, oh, but Logan Wilson wasn't playing, and it wasn't Logan Wilson's fault. Again, the Bengals defense is horrible, just as bad as Dallas. They're 32nd. Dallas is 31st or 30th. They wanted to give a chance to the younger guys, the two rookies they drafted this year, Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter. But obviously, Logan Wilson is a great linebacker. He was one of the big reasons why was a big contributor to the Super Bowl run that the Bengals had a few years back. He's good in zone coverage. Again, this is an overall solid linebacker. And again, he's better than anything that we have now, except for, we'll go into later about, who we're expecting to see this next Monday. But anyways, Logan Wilson, that was a solid piece to have on your defensive front or in your defense. And then Adam Schefter dropped a bomb. A couple hours later, Dallas Cowboys acquired Quinnen Williams for a 2026 second-round pick and a 2027 first-round pick, and Mozzie Smith to the New York Jets for Quinnen Williams. My first initial reaction, I saw the post from Schefter on Twitter. I was like, oh my God, we just got Quinnen Williams. I'm in the library right now. I'm walking. I'm trying to find a seat. I can't – again, it's so packed. Carlton, fourth floor, people that go to Carlton. Everybody is literally there. Can't find a place to sit. I'm like, oh my God, what do we trade? The Wi-Fi kept going off. I wasn't able to see what the trade details were until like 10 minutes later. I'm like, oh wow, we just got Quinnen Williams. My initial reaction was, okay, wow, we just got a stud. Quinnen Williams is a dog. DAWG, 3 exclamation marks, dog. He is really, really good at stopping the run. He is actually the highest graded defensive tackle at stopping the run this year. According to PFF, he's the highest graded defensive tackle in the entire NFL. He has the best run grade defense out of every defensive tackle. One of the biggest issues that Dallas has this year. We're 30th in stopping the run this year. It's horrible. Quinnen Williams as well. Well, he was before this year and years prior. As a defensive tackle, he was a great pass rusher. Another thing that Dallas needs is a good pass rusher. I think Dallas did really well this deadline. I think Dallas may have won the deadline with the two big trades that we have. And you mentioned it before. It's not only going to help us this season, but this is definitely a move that's going to help us in the future. So I think this is a big-time move for Dallas. I'm really happy with both of the trades that they did. Just excited to see them play, honestly. I'm really excited to see the adjustments that we make on defense serious to what Eberflus going to do. I heard that, they're going to go look into a 5-man front. We kind of saw that a bit against Arizona where they added an extra offensive lineman in Arizona, added an extra tight end. So Dallas was going with 5 D-line on the front, with 3 defensive tackles and 2 edge rushers. But yeah, anyways, curious to see what's going to happen. I'm super excited to see how these trades, plan out.
Yeah, for sure, Hamza. Like you said, I think the biggest thing is, you want to hope that these trades are going to help the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs this year. And some people might be saying, let's just tank and get a good draft pick. And I think the biggest thing is these picks will not only help us this year, and I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to come back and make the playoffs and do something. I do believe deep down that the Dallas Cowboys will go on a slight run here. And sorry, I just got a notification here. Joe Burrow should be back week 13. Just a report right now. But what I'm saying is I'm not saying the Cowboys will make the playoffs, but I do think making a trade for these two players is going to help the Dallas Cowboys make it interesting at the end of the year. I think truly it's going to come down to a game or two at the end of the year that the Cowboys kind of have to win or else they're out type of situation. I think that's going to be happening now. And Quinnen Williams, like you mentioned, Hamza, from an analytical football perspective, X's and O's perspective, he's an interior defensive line. Okay, and if you have a 4-3 front with 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers, the guard, center, and the other opposite guard are responsible for the 2 interior defensive linemen. So in our case, it would be Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. If you have 3 offensive linemen focusing on 2 interior defensive linemen, well, then you have your 2 edge rushers, with Donovan Ezaraku, who has been playing at an extremely high level recently. Jadeveon Clowney is starting to play a lot better. You are now giving those 2 players one-on-one opportunities late in games, and they can help provide pressure and hopefully get to the quarterback. And hopefully with this move, your secondary is under a lot less pressure now because you're having a push from the interior defensive line. And Logan Wilson, he was a captain before. He's a big Mountain West guy, attended the University of Wyoming. He, I think, is going to be an ultimate leader for this team. And you combine him, Hamza, with number 0, who I'll let you get to in a second here. I think it's going to be a dynamic duo for the Dallas Cowboys. Again, like I said, not only this year, but for years to come. And in 2018, I'll remind people, in 2018, at this point, the Dallas Cowboys were 3-5, and Jerry Jones made a call to at the time, the Oakland Raiders, and they traded a first-round pick for a guy by the name of Amari Cooper. And the Dallas Cowboys went on to win 8 of 9 games, went into the playoffs. They beat the Seattle Seahawks in the first round of the wild card, and then obviously lost a tough one to the Rams in the divisional game. But maybe moves like this can help propel a team moving forward. You start to buy into a culture, and you start to go, and people forget that the Cowboys offense is still playing at an extremely high level, and they're not going to be going away anytime soon. So you add these 2 defensive players. It's going to be an exciting couple weeks. The Dallas Cowboys, obviously, they have a big game this Monday against the Las Vegas Raiders, which we'll touch on at the end of our episode. But Hamza, I think it's an exciting move. Cowboy fans saying, keep the first-round picks, keep the first-round picks. Well, listen, we still have 3 of the 4 first-round picks.
We have 2 of them this year.
And exactly 2 first-round picks this year, which is a stacked defensive class with a lot of guys like Caleb Downs and Malik Muhammad, some great defensive players in this draft. I think the Cowboys have put themselves in a really good position for success this year, but also next year, Hamza. And we'll touch on to our next topic here before we get into the recaps of the NFL in Week 10, Hamza. Unbelievable Week 10 of the NFL season. It's actually unbelievable. But Cowboys news just a couple minutes before we got on air was number 0, DeMarvion Overshown, and number 34, I think, Hamza, Shavon Revel have been activated to becoming full participants in practice, and they are expected to make their season debuts on Monday Night Football primetime against the Las Vegas Raiders. Hamza, I know before the Cowboys drafted DeMarvion Overshown, you were a massive Overshown fan. You told us to keep an eye on him. What are your thoughts on Overshown coming back this week, along with a stud defensive back in Shavon Revel, Hamza?
Obviously, it's very exciting. We saw it last year. DeMarvion Overshown was all over the field. This dude was so quick. He was so vicious, and somebody that he would be the difference. He would make one tackle. He would make one play in the backfield. He would make one stop in the backfield, and that momentum would just change the game. He's a difference maker. That's DeMarvion Overshown. That's who he is. This guy in college, people called him before Agent Zero, the Texas Missile. He was that fast off the line, off the snap. There's one hit that he had. I don't know where, but it was the first clip I showed you about DeMarvion Overshown. He came right through the A-gap and absolutely destroyed, I believe it was Bryce Young or Spencer Rattler. Unbelievable. Again, DeMarvion Overshown is a super, super quick linebacker. Good side to side. He's really good at tracking the field. He's really good at his pursuit angle. That's the word. He has a really, really, really good pursuit angle. That's one thing I think the Dallas Cowboys have been missing from our linebackers this year is the angle pursuit that our linebackers have been taking are either they're just super off or they're just going at the wrong angle. Like it's like Kenneth Murray pisses me off so much. Same with Jack Sandmore. But having a guy like Overshown who's a big time player, a guy who could make a bunch of big plays, a bunch of big stops, good in the pass, good in the run as well. You have both best of both worlds. I do hope we don't play him too much. I think obviously you have to win the game against the Raiders. Him coming off of full tear and literally his MCL, PCL, LCL, and ACL, everything. I do want to kind of limit him a bit, but I do want to see him definitely on the field make some plays. Then the other guy, Savon Ravel out of ECU. This guy is another guy who I predicted this year. I'm like, dude, we should get Savon Ravel. This guy's a dog. Another not safety, another DB who was really helpful, and I think he would be really, really helpful to our Cowboy secondary with all of the injuries that we have. Deron Bland, he's kind of been our only somewhat reliable DB. Kalen Carson just got played his last game, played his first game last week against Arizona. Trayvon Diggs, again, we don't know when his timeline's going to be opened back up. And then Triquez Bridges, yeah, he hasn't been reliable. And then Reddy Stewart, again, then you bring in a guy like Savon Rebel, who before he got hurt was a projected first round pick. Dallas got this guy in the third round, so I'm very excited for him. This guy who can make up what's the word? Make up a lot of ground. He's super fast, super lanky. He's a lanky DB. Again, another guy I'm getting super excited to see what Dallas does with him.
And I don't think this is a hot take at all. I think the biggest question for sure for DeMarvin and Overshown is his health. But I am here to say that I think that when he's healthy and he's going at 100%, he might be a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. Like, he is that kind of guy. He's a difference maker. Obviously, Cowboy fans know who he is because we watch him play every week. But outside fans, I invite you to watch DeMarvion Overshown linebacker highlights, man. He is flying at the ball. A lot of youth football players, I highly recommend, if you're a youth football player, if you're wanting to be a linebacker, you want to be an athletic, physical difference maker for your team, go out there and put on DeMarvion Overshown highlights. He is unbelievable. Now, the biggest question is his health. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. And we wish him the best of luck. But I think this, along with Quinn Williams, who we just talked about, along with Logan Wilson, it's an exciting back half of the regular season for the Dallas Cowboys. And like I said, I'm not here to say they're going to make the playoffs, but I am here to say that it's going to be very interesting when it comes down to the end of the year. They obviously have a tough schedule, but I think there's some exciting moments ahead for the Dallas Cowboys, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Just super quickly, I think DeMarvion Overshown last year, he only played 13 games. He got hurt against the Bengals last year, who was balling out that game too. Got hurt that game. But in 13 games, he had 90 total tackles, 56 total tackles. Not total, sorry, solo tackles by himself. 5 sacks is one thing we also been missing by our linebackers. I don't think I've seen a line except for Shamar James against Washington. Linebackers that are actually getting to the quarterback. DeMarvion Overshown in 13 games, he had 5 sacks. He had 1 forced fumble, and then 1 interception, which was one of the craziest plays I've seen out of a linebacker against the Giants. It was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
He tipped the ball up in the air. First of all, he destroyed Devin Singletary. Like, he popped him. He shook him a bit. And he tipped the ball up in the air and then caught the ball midair and still ran for a touchdown. That's just this type of guy.
He's a special player. We're extremely lucky to have this guy.
Marvin Overshown is, again, super excited for that.
Hamza, did you want to do that's a great segment here on the Dallas Cowboys recap, and obviously we will preview their game against the Raiders. Hamza, do you want me to go over the recaps of the game of the NFL in Week 10, or did you want to do your segment first?
I'll quickly do my segment. Not necessarily a segment, just a player who I've been really intrigued about this year, and someone that guys aren't really talking about him. Some people are kind of forgetting him. And one of the coolest storylines, honestly, this year has been the revival of former Washington Commanders first-round pick Emmanuel Forbes, who's now a DB for the Los Angeles Rams. A guy with a lot of expectations, former first-round pick from Mississippi State. Us Cowboys fans, we were excited when we went up against Washington. And Emmanuel Forbes lined up against CeeDee Lamb. I'm like, hey, dude, like, who the hell? Like, he's not going to be able to stop him at all. Emmanuel Forbes in Washington did not have a good reputation. And it's not even crazy to say right now that if Emmanuel Forbes right now is probably better than any DB in Washington, because Washington's secondary right now is not good. But Emmanuel Forbes this season has been playing really well. And I'm not going to say stats say everything, but you have to really watch the film and see what he's been able to do to limit, the other team's wide receiver one. He shut down A.J. Brown against the Eagles when they played. He had a really great game against the Saints a week ago. He had an interception. They also had another really great game against the 49ers this past weekend, and again had another interception. Emmanuel Forbes this year, man, he's been looking like the guy that we saw uh, in his last year at Mississippi State. He's finally been playing good. He's been really reliable for the Rams. That Rams defense again also just stacked as well. Yeah, it's been super cool. Honestly, it's been super cool seeing the revival of Emmanuel Forbes. Someone everyone shunned off, didn't think he was a guy who was too skinny or um, was too soft. But he's been super physical this year. He's been playing really well, and honestly, it's been pretty cool to see the revival of Emmanuel Forbes.
And he's a stud player for sure. And he's the Rams are looking like a really, really good team, obviously picking up a big win against the San Francisco 49ers. For this next segment, Hamza, instead of picking just a few games that we thought were interesting in week 10, I'm going to do we'll call it like a Z's quick minute, or we'll figure out a better name for that. But I'm just going to quickly fly through the scores of the games, and Hamza will talk about a few games after I do that kind of were interesting or kind of stood out. But we'll start off last Thursday night. The Denver Broncos pick up a win 10-7 over the Las Vegas Raiders. Bo next to him for 155 yards in that game. Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts stay hot, picking up a big win 31-25 in overtime against Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons. The New York Giants fall to the Chicago Bears 24-20. And on top of that, head coach Brian Daboll let go and fired, which Hamza will talk about after this segment here. Very interesting note there. The Miami Dolphins absolutely pissed me off, taking me out of the Survivor League, picking up a massive win, 30-13 against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. The Baltimore Ravens win 3 straight games, and they're looking like they might be back in the playoff spot, winning 27-19 against the Minnesota Vikings. The New York Jets beat the Cleveland Browns 27-20. The Patriots beat the Buccaneers 28-23. The New Orleans Saints and Tyler Shaw beat the Carolina Panthers 17-7. A big game there. The Houston Texans pick up a big win against the Jacksonville Jaguars 36-29, Hamza. And this game is exciting to watch. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals 44-22. The Los Angeles Rams stay hot in that division, winning 42-26. The Detroit Lions put the BTA to the Washington Commanders, losing 44-22. The Washington Commanders are in complete shambles right now. You feel bad for their franchise after the one-hit wonder year that they had last year. Obviously, injuries play a big factor in that one. And the Los Angeles Chargers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football, Hamza, 25-10. And then the game last night that us Cowboy fans were praying.
The worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
Us quarterbacks were praying. Us Cowboy fans were praying that Green Bay Packers would win. You see a big win, 10-7 for the Philadelphia Eagles over the Green Bay Packers. Hamza, a heartbreaking loss for the Packers. Just a boring game overall. So that was unfortunate. That was my quick run through of the scores.
All the primetime games this week were
weird,
but they're all it was good. It was good defensive games, honestly.
Yeah.
If you like seeing stops, the Broncos and Raiders, but so it doesn't make any sense. NFL has been so weird this year. So the Denver Broncos put up 44 points on us, and we could barely do anything offensively against the Broncos. But then the Raiders have a super tight game with the Broncos, 14-7.
10-7.
Like it doesn't make any sense.
It was 10-7.
Or 10-7. Like and then the Steelers and Chargers. Like I don't know what Aaron Rodgers was doing.
Honestly, it's an extremely weird league and weird season happening this year. So Hamza, I touched on it during my recaps. Our good friend, someone that we met and had conversation with for, I would say, a nice 5-ish minutes at the Sens game last year, Brian Daboll, Hamza, let go by the New York Giants. Hamza, what were your thoughts on that news? Do you think it's fair? Your overall take on the Giants letting go or parting ways with Brian Daboll?
I honestly think it was bound to happen. I think maybe I was thinking, maybe they'll give him another year because, they've made the quick change of starting Jackson Dart week 3 or week 4. Jackson Dart, honestly, despite being a Cowboys fan, he's been playing really, really, really well. Fortunately, he went down with a concussion. I wouldn't put the full blame, honestly, on Brian Daboll. I think Giants played with a lot of injuries. With your best receiver being Wandell Robinson and not really doing anything at the deadline to really help the team, there's not much you can really ask for as a head coach. There's not much you can do. But honestly, I think it was bound to happen. He's been with the Giants for the past 3 years now.
3 or 4 years. So the
Yeah,
first
three or
year,
4 years.
he actually went to the play. They
Yeah, went to the
overachieved and
playoff.
went to the playoffs and had that game against the Vikings, which they actually think they won. Right? They beat that. They won
Yeah,
that
they
game.
beat the Vikings.
So yeah, honestly, I think it's a tough situation because you look at this, you look at the relationship that he had with Jackson Dart. You started to see it kind of work out, and it's hard to blame a coach for the overall lack of talent on a team. And you started to see it now with Scadaboo and Jackson Dart, and obviously Malik Neighbors got hurt earlier in the year,
But
but
even defensively, though, honestly, they have the talent defensively, but they just
they
suck.
do. They do. I don't agree with the call to let him go. Obviously, Giants fans may disagree and want him out, but it's tough when your team is absolute dog water for so long that you have to let go of your coach there. It's a tough situation, but Hamza, a name that has been floating around for a potential candidate for the New York Giants is our former head coach, Mike McCarthy. What do you think about Mike McCarthy maybe becoming the head coach of the New York Giants?
Uh, I don't see it as a bad fit at all. Honestly, I think what Mike McCarthy brings is a lot of physicality um, in terms of like what he does with his team. I think McCarthy could be a coach, a good veteran coach, someone who's been around. Has had successful seasons. Obviously, won a Super Bowl with the Packers, and had three back-to-back 12-5 seasons with the Cowboys. Despite only having one playoff win throughout those 3 seasons. Um, I wouldn't think it would be a bad idea. I'm hearing a lot that maybe John Gruden could be a
Yeah,
potential candidate.
I think he's done, man.
I don't know. Is he?
I think he may be done.
I think Gruden. Also, the Ole Miss head coach. I completely forgot his name. Um, Jackson Dart's former head coach. I don't know how I'm forgetting his name. It's embarrassing. Let me just pull it up.
I have it right here. Yeah, Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. How did I forget about Lane Kiffin? Lane Kiffin could also be a potential candidate. Dude, you want to know what's one college football head coach who I really want to see make the jump to the NFL?
Who?
Marcus Freeman, the head coach
Yeah,
for
Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. He's built such a such a nice culture down there, though. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see maybe Matt Rule. I think he speaks really well. He obviously got extended over the weekend for Nebraska through 2032, so he's going to be there for a while. And as we get
What
closer and
about
closer to the college football playoff for all of our college fans, we will be talking a little bit more college football as that bracket is slowly starting to come up into piece. But what were you saying, Hamza? Another head coach?
I'd say what about someone like some OCs? Think about like Cliff Kingsbury or
Yeah, that'd be a good option.
Clint Kubiak.
Yeah. No,
Like
it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Um,
for sure. Also,
but yeah,
did you with Dable gone? You think that also means Joe Shane's done? Because we all
no. So
saw
they
today
actually
that the
said that
Dallas
they want
Mavericks
him.
hired Nico Harrison.
No, they said that the Giants said they want Joe to be the one to decide the next head coach. So he's staying. It's just Daboll being, and Daboll will be a coach again in the league, either as a defensive coordinator or something.
He's going to be titled as a co-offensive coordinator or offensive coordinator.
Offense
He
coordinator,
actually is a like he is actually is a really smart guy.
yeah. He helped Josh Allen become who he is. No, honestly, big respect for Daboll. Hamza, we met him last year. Super, super nice guy, like down to earth, and you feel bad for him, but I'm sure he'll get back on his feet and he'll find a
How
job.
different would it be though if you drafted Shador?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay.
Hamza. Okay, Hamza. Before we move on to our other world sports segment, Hamza, I'm going to quickly preview some games to watch this week, and then at the end of this episode, we will touch on the Dallas Cowboys in Las Vegas to face the Raiders. It will be a Cowboys home game on Monday night, which is super exciting. But Hamza, I think the biggest game on the docket for this week, there's actually two games that I'm really excited for. The Seattle Seahawks at LA to face the Rams. That's a super exciting game
Or their
in
nighttime
division.
jerseys or the dark jerseys.
Yeah, it's going to be a super exciting game. division game. Two guys fighting for the top seed in that respective division, the NFC West. So that's going to be super exciting. And then obviously the Detroit Lions in Philadelphia to face the Eagles on Sunday Night Football, Hamza. That's also an extremely exciting game, a potential playoff preview matchup. So those are the two games I'm really excited for, Hamza. How about you? What games would you say you're looking forward to watching this weekend? You can pick the same ones or...
Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly say if the Steelers do not win this game, they will not win the division. Steelers versus Bengals. It's a 1 p.m. game. I honestly think the way Lamar Jackson's playing again, the Ravens are going to win the division.
They might be back.
They're one game away from tying the Steelers. And honestly, I genuinely believe that the Ravens are going to come back and win the division with Lamar Jackson, and that's going to prove again why Lamar Jackson is one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation. I think it's a big time game for the Steelers. Another one is I'm going to go with the Sunday Night Football game, Lions and Philly.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy game.
That's gonna be a crazy one. Jahmyr Gibbs went off last game against the Commanders, so and back to back. No, they had a Monday night. Never mind. The Eagles, but curious to see what happens there. I think it will be a good game. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I think the best game of this weekend will be the Texans versus the Titans.
Oh, you're kidding. Hamza, right now, who is your MVP of the NFL right now? Most valuable player in the entire National Football League.
You ready for this?
There's only one answer.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yes. Wow, we actually agree. Good for you. That was, Jonathan Taylor is unbelievable right now. He is playing like, can't even...
Jonathan Taylor or Drake May? You can say Drake May.
I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor.
You can also say Drake May. Drake May is literally... that's another
listen to this
story.
Drake May is
in
listen to this. I brought up the stats here right now, okay? Jonathan Taylor, on 189 attempts, he has 1,139 yards rushing. The guy in second place is James Cook at 920. That's a significant gap between first and second place. Number 3, by the way, Rico Dowdle. Like, what is that?
He's actually the best running back.
Why is Rico Dowdle going crazy right now?
Rico Dowdle's actually the best running back.
Devon Achane, number 4. J.K. Dobbins at 5, and then our boy Javonte Williams at number 6. But that's an interest. If I told you Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Rico Dowdle, Devon Achane, J.K. Dobbins, and Javonte Williams would be your top 6 rushing leaders in this season, would you believe? Like, that just shows how weird this year has been. But Jonathan Taylor, he also has 15 touchdowns to go along with his yards, 0 fumbles. This guy's he deserves an MVP. Give him the MVP. The last time there's been a non-quarterback MVP was Adrian Peterson. So you got to give it back to Jonathan Taylor. Drake May also had a great year as well. I agree.
You could also be the debate that Saquon should have won MVP last year.
I agree. Saquon should have won the MVP last year. Who won that? Josh Allen, right?
Josh Allen. I thought Lamar should have won, but that's what it is.
But Saquon, they don't really value running backs or non-quarterbacks. But Jonathan Taylor is our MVP.
Also, one thing I want to talk about super quickly. Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
All right. A guy who I've been patient on all year. I drafted him pretty early in my fantasy draft, and literally a week before the game, they're like, he said I forgot who it was, but they tagged at everyone. You remember when Hamza took Travion Henderson early? So many people liked it. You want to know what Travion Henderson did this week? He dropped 32 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had 2 touchdowns for over 50 plus yards. Travion Henderson is, and I've said it before, Quinshon Judkins has been having a great year, but in college, Travion Henderson was the RB1. He was better than Judkins. Travion Henderson just needed the chances. He just needed the ball, and he proved everyone wrong. Travion Henderson. Also, one thing I don't like: why is he wearing Nike gloves with Adidas with the Adidas cleats?
I saw that too.
But anyway, Travion Henderson, he's a guy who I said in the beginning of the year, one of the fantasy sleepers, that this is a guy you should keep an eye out for. Travion Henderson, dude, he's gonna keep balling. I think Ramondre Stevenson also gonna miss another week, so another week for Travion Henderson to go bizarre. Again, Trayvon Henderson, and they're playing the Jets. So Trayvon Henderson is a must start this week. Calling it right now. He's gonna put 200 yards.
Hamza, I'm going to quickly change the subject now to the NHL, and then I'll let you talk about our Golden State Warriors or any kind of sports you want to talk about. But going into the NHL right now, Hamza, our Ottawa Senators have been playing really well as of late. They're 6-1-3 in their last 10 games. Some tough overtime losses there, but you're starting to see those points start to help us now as the Ottawa Senators sit third in the Atlantic Division, Hamza. They have a big game this week. This week they play against the Dallas Stars, Thursday against the Boston Bruins, and then they have a really tough American stretch here with they're at home, against the Kings, but then they have Anaheim, San Jose, the Kings again, Vegas, St. Louis, and Dallas. So a really, really tough road trip coming up for the Ottawa Senators. My biggest player who I've been watching this last couple weeks is Michael Amadio. He's got one of the best sticks in the NHL, giving back memories to when we had Mark Stone a couple years ago. He's making every single play on the puck. He has 6 goals this season. He has only 1 assist, but 7 points overall. He's top 5 in the NHL in shooting percentage. So the Ottawa Senators have been playing really well as of late. Linus Ullmark starting to play a little bit better now. I know a lot of fans are hating on him and he's going up and down, but Sens fans have to remember that he is a Vezina caliber goalie. He carried us to the playoffs last year. Yes, it hasn't been the best of starts this year overall for Linus Ullmark, but I'd argue a lot of those goals, frankly, have been kind of unlucky. Yes, there's a few he has to have, but overall, Linus Ullmark is a goalie Sens fans have to trust. He will allow the one squeaker every now and then, but he is our goalie for the future. And I'll be the first to admit, Hamza, I wasn't a big fan of this player. I didn't think his size was going to be valuable on our defensive core. But Jordan Spence has quickly shut me up real fast. He has been playing some great hockey for the Ottawa Senators. He has points his last 2 or 3 games, I think. He is playing alongside Thomas Chabot now, which has been really nice. Nick Jensen, a guy who I really do love. I think he's a great player. This year he has been struggling. I think his injury is still kind of catching up. So
Zetterlund's been playing good too.
Zetterlund hasn't been able to score, but he is playing some really good hockey overall. But back to Jordan Spence for a sec. I take back what I said. He's been playing some great hockey. I still think you need a guy like Matt and Paulo in your lineup for that size, Hamza. He's a big body, right shot D. He plays alongside Tyler Clevin. Maybe Jensen's the guy that comes out for a guy like Matt and Paulo. But overall, as I finish up the Sens recap, the Ottawa Senators are 8-5-3. I'm just going to pull up here the NHL standings real quick. NHL standings. Something you can give me 1 second here. Sorry.
All good.
I had it up before, but now I don't. So, yeah, Montreal. What's Montreal doing, man? Montreal Canadiens, number 1 in the Atlantic Division. Boston Bruins, number 2. And then Ottawa, the Senators, at number 3 in the Atlantic. So, it's a really good spot to be in right now without Brady Tkachuk, who should be back in about a month and a half now. So hopefully he gets back healthy.
Another month and a half? Or is it like...
No, they're saying like end of, right now it's mid-November. So like maybe sometime in December, mid-December. Yeah, that's top of the Sens. If they can continue to play 500 level hockey, that'd be great. And wow, see them. The Boston Bruins have won 6 straight games, so it's gonna be a big game on Thursday, Ottawa at Boston, which I will be at. But exciting times for the Ottawa Senators, Hamza. I'll kick it off to you for the next world sports segment here.
Sticking with football, but not the NFL, I'm gonna quickly talk about college football and how horrendous my LSU Tigers have been this year. I said at the beginning of the year.
They're a developing team. They're developing.
I said at the beginning of the year that Garrett Nussmeier is going to win the Heisman.
Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, him or dude, Julian Sane. He's been you know what I'm saying? He's been doing really good. You see what I did there? Anyways, I thought after beating Clemson, week 1, I thought this Tiger team showed promise. The only reliable offensive player we have is Trey Green, who's 6'7". He's 6'7". has almost all of our touchdowns. He's the most reliable red zone threat. Garen Nussmeier has not been playing that good. Caden Durham has been having a disappointing year as a running back. He broke out last year in his freshman year. He's not been doing the same as sophomore year. I thought, I was super excited for a wide receiver core with Nick Anderson, Aaron Anderson, and Barry Brown, and Xavier Thomas, and all these guys, Kyle Parker. But again, they've been underwhelming. I don't want to fully put on their fault. But Garen Nussmeier has been playing hurt this year. I will admit he has not been playing. Also, just hasn't been playing the greatest. I think there definitely has to be a change. And I think one change, getting rid of Brian Kelly was one good decision. I think they need to do a complete revamp. I did say Mansour Delaney is going to be the best cornerback in college football, and I still stand by that. He still is the best cornerback in college football. Other than that, my Tigers have not been doing good. Hopefully next year we'll be in Natty. We're out of no way to make college football.
Yeah, it's tough. That was a tough loss last week against Alabama.
Yeah, against Bama too. But the most exciting sports event that I'm excited for this week, much as I love Dallas, UFC 322 is the most stacked card I've seen this year. In Madison, in the Garden, the Mecca of the US, this card is stacked. I'm just gonna start from the bottom. The first fight of the main card, Beneil Dariush versus Beyond Saint Denis. That's the startup fight.
That's
Lightweight.
a great fight.
That's a great fight. And then the second fight is Leon Edwards, who had one fight against Kamaru Usman. Lucky kick. Hasn't been the same against Carlos Pratis, another welterweight belt. And then another one is Sean Brady versus Michael Morales.
Miles Morales. It's Michael Morales.
And then the women's flyweight. This is the biggest women's fight probably of the year. Valentina Shevchenko versus Willie Zhang, who she vacated her bantamweight title.
No, Zhang Willie. You said
No.
Willie Zhang.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willie Zhang.
I'm pretty sure it's Zhang.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Well, online it says Zhang.
No, it's Willie Zhang.
Okay, go. Okay, continue.
She vacated the.
Online, it has the first name and then the last name. Like,
dude, everyone's first name is here. Okay, then if that was the case, and if I said Leon Edwards, I didn't say Edwards Leon.
I know, Hamza. I'm on ESPN right now, and it has a first name first, and then like Leon Edwards.
I'm on the UFC thing.
I think her name is Zhang Willie.
Oh wait, it actually is.
Yeah.
Okay, how come? Why is that thing saying Willie Zhang? Okay, yeah.
Okay,
whatever. Anyways,
26.
That's like the biggest women's fight of the year, and then
our boy,
the big one,
our boy,
welterweight belt, the 18 fight win streak of Jack Della Molina, or is it 15? One of that beat Bilal Muhammad for the UFC welterweight title versus Islam Makhachev, the former lightweight champion, soon to be two-time. Like two division title holder. That is going to be a crazy fight. I'm super excited for this fight. Of course, I'm going to say Islam's going to win, but I'm not going to underestimate Jack Della Molina. He's a beast. He's a killer.
Islam in round two.
Islam is for sure, but it's going to be. I'm super excited for this fight. I cannot wait. This is probably Islam's biggest test so far in terms of opponents. And again, I'm super excited for this fight. I think Islam, again, he will come up on top. Again, what a crazy card.
For sure.
UFC 322, November 15th.
All right,
this Saturday.
It's exciting. We're looking forward to we're going to order some Yasin pizza. It's going to be a great time. But here we go, Hamza. As we end this podcast, we want to thank everyone for continuing to watch and listen to our podcast. Obviously, Spotify has been a big hit for us, and people are tending to watch that a lot. So we appreciate the support. But Hamza, as you finish this episode, let's quickly preview the Dallas Cowboys in Las Vegas to face the Raiders. Obviously, the debuts of Quentin Williams, Logan Wilson, Siobhan Revel, DeMarvio and Overshown, a new look defense.
Also, Donovan Wilson is reportedly to be back, and maybe Malik Hooker.
And so I believe that the Dallas Cowboys are going to go on a little bit of a run here. and make it really interesting at the end of the year. It starts this Monday. You got to be able to establish the running game with Javonte Williams. There's a nice hard play action with Dak Prescott rolling out of the pocket, and then our defense. You went out there, you made some trades, you helped bolster your team. You're having guys come back. Enough's enough. You guys have to show up and pick up a big win, and that will be something to keep an eye on. Hamza, after you finish your thing, I have one more thing to add on, and then I'll finish off. Then you can.
Yeah, just super quickly, basically, like summarize basically what you said. Again, defense. Again, we traded for these guys. We traded for Logan Wilson. We traded for Quentin Williams. Super excited for Overshown and Simone Ravel to be back from injury. Also, Donovan Wilson will be back this week as well. But yeah, we made these trades for a reason. We want to beef up our defense. We want to contend now. Again, now that's the reason why Jerry made these trades in this deadline. He doesn't want to waste a couple more years of Dak's contract. He doesn't want to again God forbid Jerry's getting up there in age, and he wants to win now. These trades are meant to help us now. I think this will be a win for the Cowboys. I'm going to say 60-0. I wish. But we are going up against one of my favorite players in the past draft, someone who really wanted to come to Dallas, somebody who I also wanted at first, but obviously impossible. We were going to take him. He was going to fall with it 12. Going up against Ashton Genty. We are going up against a weak O-line though, so that's where one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to win this game and everyone overreact. Be like, okay, Dallas is legit. This is serious. This is serious. It's one game. I think the biggest test that we're going to have is going up against Philly.
Well, we'll focus on after that. Let's focus.
If we beat the Raiders, that's cool. We beat the Raiders. They're not really a great team. I think the main priority is, again, getting everyone healthy. Everybody has to be healthy. But I don't want everyone to overreact. That's the only thing I'm saying. And I'm saying this as a Cowboys fan. Even if we win by a high margin, I don't want anyone to overreact.
Perfect. Hamza, I feel bad. We should have mentioned this earlier in the episode as we are Canadians and we do support the CFL. This Sunday is the Grey Cup. Davis Alexander, the Montreal Alouettes versus our boy Trevor Harris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Grey Cup will be on Sunday, which, by the way, CFL, you guys should put your Grey Cup on Saturday night. Make it a Saturday night thing. Not to say that, well, I'm going to say it. The CFL, unfortunately, cannot compete with the NFL in terms of ratings. Don't have your Grey Cup on a Sunday night where there's primetime NFL football happening. You're going to lose a lot of viewership within this country because of the primetime NFL game. So move your game to Saturday night or even Friday night. Make it a big thing
Friday
for your country, for your team.
Saturday is still college football and UFC.
Yes, for college football, I understand college football is a big thing, but I would argue that there's still a greater, not greater, but people would be more inclined to watch a national CFL championship than a college football playoff game.
In Canada, sure.
In Canada, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm talking about. Because if your Grey Cup's on Sunday night, you're competing with the Canadian fans who like the NFL. That's all I'm trying to say here. But regardless of that, CFL make your Grey Cup on Saturday. I think it would be amazing for the sport and amazing for viewership. Make it your own day. That'll be exciting. But Hamza, we watch a bit of the games on the weekend. Montreal, Davis Alexander, 13-0 as a starter in the CFL. He has not lost a game yet. My really good friend and guy who I trained with in the offseason, Daniel Oladejo, unfortunately suffered an injury, but wishing him the best of luck. He's obviously on the Montreal Alouettes roster, so hopefully he can go there, pick up a big win. Hamza, what's your prediction for the Grey Cup, and who's going to win? Who's going to win the 112th Grey Cup?
I think the Kirk Cousins of the CFL is going to win. Trevor Harris. Actually, he's not even Kirk Cousins. He's I don't know. He's not Phillip Rivers, but
he has 2 Grey Cup rings.
He does.
Maybe Drew Brees.
No, he's not Drew Brees. But anyways, I think Trevor Harris is going to go ahead and win. We literally watched the last 30 seconds of that game against Saskatchewan versus BC, and crazy last second drive. But yeah, I think Saskatchewan's going to come over top, and I think Trevor Harris is going to come up with the win, and he's going to retire as a Ottawa Red Black.
Personally, as a diehard Ottawa sports fan, I cannot cheer for Montreal, so I want Saskatchewan to win. However, I do think Montreal is going to win. I think their defense is a lot better than Saskatchewan, and Davis Alexander, who suffered a bit of a hamstring injury last game, he will be back. So I'm going Montreal with the win. And that'll be it for today's episode. Hamza, why don't you close it up for us? Thanks again for watching, everyone.
For sure. Again, we appreciate everyone making it this far. Like, we're going to say in every single video, please like and subscribe. Please repost. Please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the HnH Podcast. And again, appreciate the support. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.